Umeme was privatized, actually the distribution sector was privatized in 2005, and that's when Umeme started business, and a lot has transpired. The customer base has multiplied by almost 5 times. The losses have dropped to almost a third, a quarter. Collection rates are up. The sophistication and service level has improved a great deal. I mean, for one, no more cash is received at Umeme offices, but people are a lot happier with the alternative payment arrangements. Technology has been introduced. There has been a lot of increase in public sector involvement, engagement, and concern participation. On top of that, there's been a lot more sensitivity and a greater demand for service delivery. The service delivery expectations have gone through the roof. You know, the more you give them, the more they want. So that. However, I believe that the concept of different players in the electricity space is now accepted, and there's a big debate, government, non-government, but it's now a debate. It's not hard and fast rules anymore. And for Uganda, it was quite in-depth deregulation. So one of the biggest benefits for the country is that the tariff is cost reflective. So the government, for operations and maintenance, day-to-day operations and maintenance, does not pick any money from the treasury. Actually, it's the reverse. 18% of all sales go to the treasury as tax, plus capital gains tax, and so there's actually money flowing out of the sector back into the treasury, as opposed to previously. Obviously, there are regulatory issues and other issues, so I can go on and on and on. So a lot has transpired since the privatization. I won't say it's not the route to go, but it's not the only route. Now, it depends from country to country and depends on the policy of the country. However, especially regarding capital-intensive infrastructure developments, my personal feeling after this experience is that those should be absorbed by the government and not passed through as a cost in operations and maintenance. So there's a need to devolve that. So the government can step in to ensure that the backbone of distribution transmission grows in step with the growth of the sector and whatever's going on. Almost all the governments in the East African sector have stepped in and funded access as part of the development goals, the strategic development goals and targets that have been set worldwide. So there are many options, but you can also have public-private partnerships, independent private partners and power producers and all kinds of lovely options. For distribution, I strongly believe that governments should drive hard, through the pain, and get to a point where you have licensed distribution network operators and licensed retailers. That would give the customers the best service delivery at the lowest cost, which is what people want, but there's some pain you have to go through as a government and a country. Well, when it comes to East Africa, like I said, every government's at a different level in terms of what the World Bank mapped as the blueprint trajectory for deregulation of the sector. You know, preparation of the legal framework, unbundling of the existing legacy utility, involvement of private sector participants in distribution, involvement of private sector participants in generation, and then retailing the market. That is the World Bank blueprint. It has held firm. It's been replicated around the world and it's working. So different governments at different levels. When you look at Kenya, they're just toying with having a transmission operator. They're trying to get rid of the generation. They took a step to list their government-owned, government majority-owned, bundled vertical utility, and now they're trying to break it up. So they went about it a different way. Tanzania is still holding on to the vertically integrated utility. Rwanda has just managed to separate water and electricity, and they now have a vertically integrated utility. Uganda, on the other hand, has moved a bit further. So I see a push for more regulatory reforms and unbundling because of the need for efficiency in the sector. And you can only get that efficiency if you clearly demarcate each unit's responsibility, distribution, generation, transmission. And when that happens, then you know where the costs and the bleeding is, and where you tweak as a country. It's not cut and paste. Each country does it differently. So that's where I see things going.